Hello everyone, welcome back to the workbench. Matt from Model Minutes here, and welcome to another unboxing. Today I'm taking a look at two model kits, and they are the Spitfire Mk V from Revell and the Spitfire Mk V from Revell. Join me as I get stuck into these two model kits and determine if they are the same model, just in different boxes, or different models in different boxes. So very recently I had a look at all of the Airfix Spitfire Mk Vs, which I'm sure we'll be able to notice here that the Spitfire Mk V came in three different variants: the Mk V-A, the Mk V-C, and the Mk V-B. So A, B, and C. All of these are different toolings, and for more information on that particular dive into the boxes, take a look at that video. But having done this, I thought to myself, well, is there anyone else who makes quite a few sort of duplicates of Mk Vs? And it turns out that Revell do. So Revell have two boxings of the Mk V. This one in the blue box is slightly older, as was typical of the sort of blue boxing time, and then we've got one in the black boxing down here. And I did originally think that they were the same model kit inside, but we'll have a look as we go through. So we've got the first one here, which is an item code of 04164, and we've got dimensions here, 12.7 in length and 14 centimeters in width, but you'll notice that they're slightly different. Because even though this is the same length, this one is actually longer. So that must be because this one has, in my left hand, has clipped wings, whereas this one doesn't have clipped wings. So I would imagine that'd be the difference. Naturally, the artwork is different. On this one, it says this one has 42 parts. Is there a part count on this one? It does say that you can have your landing gear in two options, decals for two versions, detailed cockpit, Revell paint colors there if you want them. Oh, does it not have a part count on the box? I may have missed it. If there is, it doesn't. I don't seem to see it. If anyone sees it, let me know down in the comments. But I don't see a part count on the box, which is a bit frustrating. But yeah, on the back we've got a bit of information about the skill system that Revell used or uses, but it basically doesn't mean anything a great deal. It's just done by the part count. For this one though, we've got some images of the aircraft and how it might build up. We've got some paint colors down here. Again, it tells us it's a level 3, and this one's a level 3, but that's probably because it's based on the part count. And then anything else on the box worthy of note? No tooling information, no tooling dates, no manufacture dates. There is a copyright date of 2018 on this one in my right hand. And on this one in the blue box, we have a copyright of 1999. So, you know, we would expect this one to be older. This one in my right hand has a product code of 03897. So straight off the bat, they have different product codes, which means that they are effectively different product lines. So let's have a look at this one, as I've got this one right here. Safety warning information, we'll put that to one side, and we'll put the parts to one side as well. So we've got our instructions, and they are printed in colour in a slightly glossy booklet, which is quite nice. We've got an image of the built model on the front there, something that we can potentially aspire to. And as we look through, we have a few hints and tips here on how to do some different bits of the kit. We've got a key to the symbols. Then we've got our paint colour callouts. I'm not a fan of the Revell paint colour callout system. All of Revell paint colours come with a number. So like 99 is aluminium, 83 is rust. But then in the instructions, they'll go and they'll give it another letter. And I find that just double handling, because now I have to go through and write in what the paint colors are. Granted, in the newer boxings, they are like printed in color, so it makes it a bit more obvious as you go through. But, you know, just do what other companies do. You don't need to add an extra step. It just seems like unnecessary work that now I've got to go through and sort of fix. We have a sprue map here, which is always handy to see, so we can sort of see where our parts might be, and we can complete our construction of the model. So starting off, we've got seat and cockpit parts. We've got transfers. Apparently, we've got some transfers for harnesses. We assemble our cockpit interior, join our fuselage together, and we can insert our retaining part for the propeller. Then we can add our exhausts, our wings get joined, and then onto the fuselage, tail surfaces, wing tips. So we do have the choice in this kit whether we want clipped wings or full-length wings. Tail surfaces go on, landing gear can be assembled and either glued in a lowered or raised position. We have a lower part of our aircraft that needs to go on, so that implies to me that there's potentially a different sort of part for that, which may have like a tropical filter or something. Then we come to the next page, which has the option of slipper tank if you want to use one, which is something similar that we saw in the Airfix kit for the 5C. Spinner and prop get mounted, and then we do have the option of there's a 3-part canopy, but actually it doesn't say that you can have your 3-part canopy in an open position. It just says to glue it in a closed position. I would imagine that with a little bit of fiddling you could get that to be in the open position, but obviously without having built it I don't know. Anyways, we come to the painting instructions, and this kit has 2 painting instructions, a Mk.Vb from 303 Squadron and another 5B. No, it's the same. It's not 2, it's the same one. It's just over 2 pages. RFD, it's the same one. That's a little bit annoying that they've put it over 2 pages, but I suppose it is what it is. So only 1 paint scheme in this boxing, which interestingly is the same paint scheme that was included in the Airfix kit. But the Airfix kit came with 2. It came with the RFD variant and also a United States Army Air Force version. But yeah, so 1 paint scheme. It does make indication here for decal 23 we need to cut it to length, so it's too long apparently, and we also need to apply it before the roundel, so it goes behind the roundel rather than over the top. But yeah, generally speaking, we've got our color callouts, our instructions for our decals there, and we have dark green and grey uppers, and then for lowers we have a sort of lighter grey. Yeah, so not too bad instructions wise. Decals are printed in Italy. These are not cartograph decals, I don't think. If you look over here, there's a little Z. I think someone said to me before that if it's a C, it's a cartograph decal, but these aren't. Copyright date of 2018, but they don't look too bad, do they? They look all right, not overly thick. I generally don't have any issues with Revell decals, wherever they've manufactured them. We do have seatbelt transfers, which is something that we haven't had from Airfix. We didn't have that in the Spitfire Mk V boxing. But we've only got 1 decal scheme. We do have separate red dots, which I'm not a massive fan of, and also the transfers for the band around the fuselage come in 2 halves, interestingly. I might be tempted to just paint that rather than using the decals, but yeah, generally not too bad. And then that brings us onto the parts, which come sealed in a plastic bag, but you can see the clear parts are just rolling around in the bag by themselves. So there were 3 parts to the clear parts to make up your cockpit. As you can see, we've actually got 2 different front windscreens. There we go. So we've got 2 different windscreen options. This one doesn't seem to have like the bulletproof sort of glazing on the front. Was that an earlier variant perhaps? Not sure. The moulding is generally acceptable, but you can see we've got some flash, and there are some scuffs on the plastic, which is probably a result of it being, loose sort of with the rest of the sprues, which is a bit of a shame. But this mold quality isn't the best, and I sort of think this is not a particularly old tooling, so it's a bit disappointing that we've got, these sort of scuffs and blemishes on there. Then we come on to the actual parts. We have 4 little sprues or frames of parts molded in a slightly olivey grey plastic. I don't think the camera will pick it up, but to my eye it has a slight olivey tinge to it. Oh wow, have you seen what I've seen? Look, can you see that shine on the wing there? That's mold release. That's literally like oil on my kit from the molding manufacturer. I've never seen it as in like actual drops of oil. That's so oily. This is going to need a wash. So the mold release stops it from sticking to the mold as they manufacture it. but that's a massive sort of blob on there. Right. So the mold quality on this is generally okay. There is some flash in places, and we have generally quite subtle recessed panel lines and raised details. It looks quite nice. We have different wheel options down here. Cockpit details look okay. Little bit of flash here that will need to be removed. Flipping over, we have some wheel well detail as well, but you can see there's a little bit of dirt sort of captured into the tooling. And then on the inside of the fuselage, we've got some details. We have a copyright date of 2016. So I had a look online and I struggled to find the tooling dates and things. So on ScaleMates is a wonderful resource, but because it's sort of community driven, things get a little bit sort of waylaid and confused and mismatched. And sometimes it's a bit difficult to pull information down, especially with particularly popular subjects such as this gets very massively convoluted. So I would say that 2016 is the tooling date for this, which would look about right, seeing as sort of the level of detail we've got. Bit disappointing about that mold release though on there, and also the amount of flash. You wouldn't expect the amount of flash that we've seen on here for 2016 tooling. We'll move on to the other bits and pieces. We've got tail surfaces, filters. Details are generally quite nice, but again the mold flash is a little bit disappointing. And then lower wings, so look at that on there. Can you see that glistening? Look at all that mold release on there. That's a lot. Oh wow, that's a lot of mold release. This is so oily, this is going to need a massive wash. So wing surfaces, as mentioned, we can have clipped wings or full length wings, but for our version we're going to need full length. And then we had our slipper tanks and propeller. Was there another component? Was there an air filter for the nose? So that's the normal one. Was there a tropical one included? If there was, I can't see it, because I would have thought because this came separately here that there for under the nose there was going to be a tropical one, but I don't see it on this sprue. It may be that there's another variant out there which I haven't seen, or that they were planning on releasing at some point in the future. So that's that Mark V. That's the official Mark V. Then we come on to the Mark V, which looks to be an older kit based on the fact it's in an older style box. So we'll get that one out. Oh yeah, so this is looking a lot older. It has the black and white painting instructions, which I am not a massive fan of, which sort of exacerbates the painting. What is going on here? Why have you folded it up like this? Couldn't you just done it in one go? Where are my decals anyway? The decals are in there. Okay, right. So A3 sheets of paper, which are just all randomly folded together. On this page here, front page, we've got the artwork from the box. We've got our colors labeled, and then we need to my word, come on. So we start off assembling our cockpit. There are some decals for the control panel. That gets glued together. It looks a lot simpler than the other one that we've just looked at. We do again have the option of having clipped wings or full length wings. We do have to install our blisters for our cannons on this one, whereas they were molded on the other one. And then we come down to landing gear. Landing gear in this one looks like it only has the option, or at least is only indicated, to be in the lowered position. Engine exhausts go on, tail surfaces, landing gear, blisters for the cannons under the wings. Then we have our cannon barrels, propeller goes on, canopy, a single piece canopy, so no option to display it open unless you make modification. And that brings us to the end. So we have 2 paint schemes in this kit. Registration AEA or AZG. And this is what I hate about Revell painting instructions. They're black and white. How many shades of grey can we use to represent the different colours? So A, B, C. A, B and C are your main colours. Dark green, dark grey, and then light grey. So the same paint scheme as was seen in the other kit basically. But we got our two different variants. The two different variants ultimately are, do you want to build one with clipped wings or do you want to build one with full length wings? Because I think this is the only kit so far that has come with a clipped wing paint scheme, I would probably go for that one and then build the other one as the full length wings. But yeah, the instructions definitely need more work to them. Was there a copyright date on this? So 1996 on there, it says down there. So that may well be the tooling age for this one. So we've got the bag open. Something's fallen off the sprue almost immediately. This looks like part of the sort of cockpit interior. We have our single clear part. It doesn't look quite right shape-wise. The shape of this doesn't look right, does it? It doesn't quite have the same, you know, if we compare it to that, it just doesn't look quite right. It looks a bit off. It looks like it's been squashed, which is a bit of a shame. The molded sort of framework on it is very subtle as well. It doesn't really exist. And there are scuffs and blemishes on there as well, which is a bit of a shame. Then we have our two dark grey plastic sprues, but they are of a similar quality. There isn't as much mould release on here. We do have some flash, as was present on the other kit. We do have some scratches on the plastic, which may be from where the toolings have not been so well looked after. And on the whole, the mold quality looks okay. It's acceptable. We have recessed and raised panel lines, which are quite similar to the other kit, sort of quality wise. Yeah, they're about the same. Internally, we've got a copyright date of 1996, so I'm going to say that's the date of this one. And we've got a bit of dirt molded in, if you can see that, the sort of discoloration where the ejector pin marks are. A bit annoying, but obviously we're not going to see that because that's on the inside. There's our tips for our clipped wings, and then we move on to the other components. Fuselage halves, bit of flash on there that's going to need cutting off and trimming it away. Again, very similar to the other one. Maybe not quite as refined, but still objectively fine detail-wise. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, does it? Doesn't look too bad. We do have an ejector pin mark here on a detail surface, which is a bit of a shame for the ejector for the engine exhausts. And the landing gear leg here has a bit of a wibbly wobbly kind of mold thing going on. Bit annoying. A few internal cockpit details as well, but yeah, not terrible. Not the worst kit I've seen in the world. Yeah, so strange, bit weird. So we have a Spitfire Mk V, which can represent a Mk V with either clipped or full length wings, and we also have a Spitfire Mk V, which has clipped all full length wings. There doesn't seem to be a massive difference between them. There are some detail differences, like on the wing tops here, for example. The sort of blister here is present, whereas on this one it isn't. As you can see, the wings are a little bit different. I know we did have to drill out a hole for it, but they look ever so slightly different blister wise. So I wonder if this one is maybe a little bit more accurate, and this addresses the issues of that one. But the thing is, I am pretty sure you can still get both of these kits. Which one is better? Well, I would probably have to say the more recent one is better. What was the tooling date on that one? 2016. It has a little bit more finesse. The canopy, it comes in parts, which you may be able to display open, but also the canopy on this one, the older one, doesn't look great. So what was it? Oh, I've forgotten already. 2016 for that one, and I think it was 1996 for that one. Those are our dates. There's a tooling date. Yeah, 1996, 2016. So there's like 20 years between them. 20 years difference. But the question obviously remains, why are they selling both? They're still as far as I can say, both still available, and they both retail for around £10 here in the UK, which seems a bit weird. Why wouldn't you just focus on one product line rather than another? Is it maybe the margins on this boxing are less than the margins on the other boxing, which means that maybe you make more profit from that one? I don't know. I did neglect to look at the decals for this one. They do look a little bit older. They have a slight weird, like almost like talcum powder feel to them. They don't look too bad though. They look usable. Same kind of deal. Probably not as refined, maybe a little bit older, but yeah, no, they're okay. I would say though that the walkway stencils are much bigger on the older kit than on this one. So are the other underwing stencils and things, so that's interesting, but hopefully they go onto the model fine. They do feel a little bit thick, but printing is generally acceptable. Just a weird sort of like text, sort of like a residue on the top of them. But yeah, so that was pretty much that. Personally, if I had to go and make a decision between them, I'd probably go for the one in the more recent boxing. It just looks a little bit more accurate. It looks a little bit more refined, but it did have that really strange thing with the amount of mold release on it. Also, if you want choice, the older kit comes with 2 paint schemes. That one has 2, that one has 1. So really, you know, it comes down to which one has better value for you. I would say that this one looks more accurate. But yeah, a bit of a strange one. 2 Spitfire Mk Vs, which effectively represent the exact same aircraft. 2 different toolings, one older than the other by about 20 years, but still both available in the Revell range for around the same price of about £10. Strange. And with that, I think I'm probably just going to leave this one here. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of my review, and if you think my assessment of this kit was, or these kits was fair. And also let me know any suggestions for other kits that you'd like to see me review on my channel. As always, a quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. Massive thanks to these guys on screen. And if you'd like to join them, take a look at the links in the description to find out how you can help support the channel. There are other ways, of course, if you'd like to do so. The best way to support the channel for free, though, is by subscribing with notifications turned on, so you never miss a modelling upload. And the last thing, though, is to say a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.